Go. Good evening, welcome to Monday, May 20th, 2024, public board meeting of the Kingston City Land Bank. My name is Mike. I serve as the moderator for this call. We ask that members of the public limit their comments no more than 2 minutes per speaker. And with that, I turn it over to the board chair, Mr. Nate Hannigan.
Great. We'll start with the roll call. Let's start with the folks in the room first. So Nate Hennigan, board chair.
Joanna Dorman, board member.
Aaron Gilbert, vice chair.
And then going to Zoom.
Barbara I'm not on mute. Barbara Unides, board member.
Cool. You have a quorum.
Yes.
So first I'll entertain a motion to accept the prior meeting minutes as uploaded to YouTube.
Motion.
All right, all in favor? I'm just gonna start combining these two votes together.
I can merge them.
And is there a motion to approve the meeting agenda as written?
Motion to approve the meeting agenda.
Second.
Good. All in favor? Great. Okay, board chair announcements. I'll keep it pretty brief this week. I think actually the whole meeting I think will be pretty brief tonight. First, thank you, Aaron, for covering the board meeting last month while I couldn't make it. I think the only other announcement I have is Aaron or Mike and I met with the owner of Lone Wolf, the bar around the corner from Stefan. Really nice guy. We're talking to him about some property line questions, but also potentially going to work with them on possible event, maybe a fundraising situation. So TBD on that. I think that's kind of it, actually. So with that, there's no members of the public here currently, so we'll breeze past public comments and go to the executive director's report.
Right, thank you very much. Good evening. It's nice to see everyone. I will jump right in and also be appropriately brief. So in our pipeline category, we still have not made a final decision on 55 Rodney. I brought it up last month, and I don't think it's something we have to rush into, but that is one from Reso 172 in 2018, Reso 66 in 2023. We're moving forward with, and I think Owen will have some updates on 177 Murray. This is a property that we've been looking at for quite some time, and the bids are due back for that demolition on the 30th of this month. So we hope to come back with an opportunity to give you some updates on where we are with that. We haven't seen the bids yet, they haven't come in. Depending on the bids, depending on the funding available that we have, which would be ARPA as the source of funding, we could close on a purchase in June, we could demo in July. So definitely I will circulate that date just because it's something we haven't done before. It's kind of interesting to see something change that rapidly pretty quickly. And then after demo, it's potentially a cross-mod project. This is the funding opportunity through the state that we talked about last month. So to be continued on that, not dissimilarly, 24 Belmont is another property under that Reso 66. If funding can be found to clean it up, it potentially could be a cross-mod, but right now we have not identified the funding to clean up that site. So moving on to the city's efforts to consider code enforcement as a mechanism for new properties that could become our pipeline. That conversation is still ongoing. We would still need to wait 2 years after the city acquired before we could sell. So that's a piece of the puzzle, but it would be one that we wouldn't be able to touch for a couple of years. Not dissimilarly, Article 11, which are the unpaid taxes foreclosures. So New York State 2024 budget has procedures now for cities to implement so that they could start up Article 11. Still need to wait 2 years. Finally, National Community Stabilization Trust, I report no change to the prior month's conditions. Of 0 properties made available to us this month. Pre-development, 9 properties, no change from last month. 6 of these will be discussed by Owen at ADC. I'm calling them internally the ARPA rehabs, just because that for internal purposes, I think it helps us just to like have something to go into QuickBooks, but we external facing, I think there were some updates at ADC around a timeline for externally naming the project, but those are my updates on that. Third Avenue, no updates beyond the ADC presentation that we had internally facing late last week, and Kyle may touch on some of the exciting funding applications that we've gotten through for the site, which is a big milestone for us. It's a lot of interesting stuff out there. And then finally, under pre-dev, we have Keller and Hanratty, which are two vacant sites that we own. Those are potential cross-mod program candidates. And we will be applying to cross-mod, which is June 7th, I think is when that's due.
Who's the last
Land banks, just land banks. And the state will select 3 land banks out of whoever applies, and then the process will begin. Property sales, we're down to 1. We're at 2 last month. So Franklin is in contract. I estimate that it will close within 30 days. So it's great. Pat Stone is back from their vacation, so they're now fully engaged as of today, and I can stop trying to pretend to do what they do. So that's great. Pending funding opportunities, just wanted to note, and then I'll stop reporting on it because it moves, I think, into finance appropriately. We've got new LBI2 money, $1.1 million. We're very grateful to the state for doing that, and that would be used for what we might call ARPA rehabs internally. Similarly, Mid-Hudson Momentum Fund, the application was extended again from April until the end of June, so we are putting together our application to apply. The first round of funding awards, which usually kind of tells you what they're looking for, and especially in a new program, still has not been announced, so we still don't know what fits for this. That is, the application's in the works. It was recently announced, and it's due at the end of July, New York State's consolidated funding application, which is the big enchilada of all the different funding sources and pieces of the puzzle we're looking at it closely. On average, it's about $200 million a year, so maybe, maybe not. We don't know if it would fit with any of our pipeline work, but we're looking at the funding sources. And finally, I'll just mention the $50 million in New York State funding for land banks in the 2024 budget. The funding programs have yet to be announced, but we expect it will be soon. In my other category, I will just say that the New York Land Bank Association's 2024 legislative agenda is in your board package, just so you can see what sort of cohesively, comprehensively we're advocating for. One of the interesting items, from my perspective, is that there's a bill that I think is being co-pushed, or we have common ground with all the Habitat affiliates, and it's that an assessor shall assess a property at the cash purchase price, which is what we've been working under here. We're thankful for that ability to do that, but it's not a law, so this would be a revision of real property tax law.
So that would apply just to affordable homes?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have said. So that would be a good thing statewide if that goes through, but otherwise, that's one. That was what jumped out to me, but it's in your board package. Last thing I would say is that Kyle, Owen, Stacy, and myself are going to the New York Land Bank Annual Conference, July 10th through 12th in beautiful Oswego, New York. That is it. Those are my updates. Thank you.
Great. Okay, let's dive into committee reports, starting with ADC.
So ABC this fun, just a few things, I guess. Owen, pass along to you. I don't know, so you guys were calling it, what were you calling it? Lisa?
In the end, I'm only floating the idea of ARPA rehabs because
I was just noticing that, well, the agenda says third wave.
I know it does. That's my idea.
But basically, what we said was we would throw around names. We have an internally facing name for now, and then by the June board meeting, as our deadline, we'll set an externally facing name for the project. We tossed around a few different ideas in the committee. I don't think any of them we didn't really talk about in depth, but I don't think it was a unanimous choice. But it was think about it. What should we call this project that doesn't have a funding source, that we can name it after, like Legacy Cities, that isn't our pilot, that captures some sentiment of what we want to do, or what we are doing as an organization, that is publicly accessible, we don't entirely understand what we do, etc. But with that, Owen, I'll pass along to you for pre-development updates on this project.
All right. Good evening, everybody. So I think it was the last board meeting where the two contractors were selected, and so we've been working with those two contractors, two GCs, over the past couple of weeks to look at the projects more closely. We've been doing some investigation of some of the structural questions we have and working on being clear about what's going on with our underground utilities. But we're working towards contracts with the GCs. On the GC side, we're doing those investigations and making sure everything's captured scope wise. And then we're working with our KCLB lawyer to do draft contracts, which we don't have yet. But the RFP said July start date, and that's still what we're shooting for. We do, I believe, have one of the GCs has pulled permits on 3 of the properties. So we don't have contracts yet, but we're moving in that direction. I guess that's pretty much my report on those renovations.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
Questions or topic conversation on that? Glad to hear it's all moving along with both GCs. Okay, so next up then is discussion of 177 Murray, which I believe is here because we need to authorize Mike to acquire the property from the city.
If I could add to the discussion, so 177 Murray would be acquired under our disposition policy agreement with the city of Kingston. So that would be a $1 acquisition price upfront and then an amount paid based on the affordability of the sale, affordable sale to buy the land bank. My request would be a discussion around authorizing the acquisition if we have the funds to demo. So that's all based on the demo.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Okay, if we have the funds to demo, and then acquire for the funds to demo with the understanding that if we are chosen, this might become a cross-mod project.
Yep.
Okay. Well, then I guess any topic of conversation, maybe in the interest of Robert's rule, we should vote now and then have the conversation as I think you're supposed to have, right? Isn't that how it is? Any conversation comes after you vote?
I always thought it was discussion before vote, but
Like,
Not a
you
problem.
entertain a motion,
Yeah,
second, and then you discuss. So,
you can move to discussion, like you vote to move to a discussion. Open discussion, and then you can vote to like close discussion and go to a vote on the overall issue.
well,
I forget what the proper names for these
Yeah,
things are, but
point of order, all of this.
Yeah.
You know, well, all bit of conversation, any discussion on this project, and on the acquisition of Murray. Oh, when you look like you're about to say something. No, okay.
Now I'm here. I'm on standby.
Any comments or questions?
I mean, do we have like any high level, just like pros and cons based on ABC?
We didn't go into depth on it, to be honest, no. I mean, I'm not sure, well, no, we didn't really go into depth. I'm not sure what the con from acquisition, of acquiring it. What do you see as the potential cons, like, yes?
I don't know, that's what I was
Okay.
I can see a con of acquiring it and not doing
Like,
it.
not a program.
And or holding it for an extended period of time. It's an open building that's right across the street from where a lot of children live and near children's schools. I think there's a liability with acquiring it immediately.
Yeah.
So that would be my only comment.
And then do we have any sense? I mean, right now the plan is to demo it, but once we do that, do we have any like very, very early sense of what we would do with the property?
So if we demoed it in July, we would have applied to the cross-mock program in June.
Potentially put cross.
And so I don't know when we would hear back, but I assume they're looking to move quickly.
I recall we had the conversation about this property several months ago.
Yeah.
And Crossmod wasn't in the conversation yet, so at that point, so let's say we don't get the Crossmod, we had talked about potentially giving it to someone, or is that not?
I think we had talked about
Or
a
selling
full,
it as a lot?
either selling it as a lot to an interested party or redeveloping it as modular construction was what we were talking about at the time. This was before the bids had come back for ARPA rehabs. So we didn't know how much, if any, funding we would have left over and ARPA money or other funding sources that we have to obligate equipment. That was why I think we had that discussion.
And we discussed that we would be doing the demo with the assumption that there were hazardous materials
Yes,
in it, so it's a more expensive demo, but we're not paying for the testing.
correct.
Okay. And when would we know about the funds? Will we know about if we have the funds before?
We actually have the funds for the demo, depending on where the prices come in.
Okay,
And so we haven't gotten the prices yet. So if it's where, I don't want to say on this meeting, like
Yes.
where it has to land, of course, but if it lands where we think it was going to land, or where we hope it was going to land, we do have the funding. Just the demo, though, not to do new construction.
Are we concerned there's any risk that once we demo it, whatever environmental issues there are currently with the property, like, will prevent us from being able to?
It's interesting on the face of it. We have a clean phase one report. So that does not preclude moving forward with new construction on the site because there's nothing noted as a recognized environmental condition. However, I think what happens when you close out your permits for asbestos abatement or for demo, rather, assuming that the building has asbestos, that is the end of the environmental requirements related to demo and post-demo. Owen maybe has more information than I do or more precise local information, but that's my understanding of the process.
and has Olympic ever done this before?
Nope.
First time. And then we, go ahead, Owen, sorry.
I didn't, I heard what Mike was saying right up until the point where you were like, maybe, well, maybe Owen knows about, and that part I didn't hear. So it was, you were talking about the closeout of the asbestos job or the demo job?
I think not just the closeout of the demo job, but the necessity of that closeout not creating any additional requirements for environmental testing. I think it's my understanding that it does not.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well.
And then if for some reason, because we won't have the modular, we won't have the ARPA funding available to do a modular thing. If for some reason, just hypothetically, for some reason if we don't get the cross mod, we don't have ARPA funding available, we're kind of like some other properties on holding pattern to figure out kind of what fund available. And maybe some of the 50 million or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that just falls into the same as like Hanratty.
Yeah,
It's just like, we have this empty property,
We'll do it at some point.
Yeah.
Totally.
Cool.
So on that note, I will entertain a motion to authorize Mike to acquire, the land bank to acquire 177 Murray, depending on the bids for its demolition. If they fall within an amount of, if they fall within limits that we can afford, the money that we have.
If we have the money.
If we have.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion then.
All in favor? Oh, there we go. All right, we are unanimous. Mike can acquire it. So this is Legacy Cities 2 financing. But luckily we have none anymore.
That's,
Or were we referring to the third wave project?
I was referring to what I was referring to as the third wave project,
Okay.
but I think it's also vestigial from a prior.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
So,
Well, luckily we have no more, we'll come back to finance, but that's closed down. We've sold all those properties. So Kyle, hand it off to you for the third wave / whatever, ARPA, whatever it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, not a ton to report here. We're just, budgeting this out, working through the requisition process. We're gonna be working with a bank this time around, so I've got to figure out the process internally, but we're getting in a place where we're ready to hit the ground running with this. The only major update for this is the $1.1 million initial LBI funds for this project that I think is nearly officially secured. Signed?
Yeah, as of a couple hours ago, we're all signed up. Sorry, I didn't send that to you.
No worries. Yeah, so that's the update on the third wave ARPA rehab KCLB Unleashed project.
Great.
And third Ave, again, nothing to update beyond what we discussed at ADC last week and Mike's comments earlier.
One question that just popped into my head. there's no, I mean, I think we talked about this before, but because there's no state funding or bank loan or this new 6-home project, we can use our own enforcement mortgage or some version of our own enforcement mortgage.
We can. That is very exciting.
Interesting. Okay.
The state money, the LBI money
Yeah,
is
yeah.
not the same flavor
Yeah.
as total.
Yeah.
So I think that we could all take a look at it again.
Yeah.
I think we got to a good place last time, but there's maybe other reasons to revisit it.
Is there, okay. One other dumb question, and I feel like this is very obvious, but just to ask it. The city's new preference policy is only for the first sale, right?
It is,
Okay,
it is,
okay.
it is. No, thank
We're not
you.
gonna
I
take
stuttered
out
for a
homeowners
reason.
to like, yeah,
Oh, meaning like if the homeowner.
resells in 7 years or whatever it is.
The enforcement mortgage would cover.
Just the enforcement,
Yeah.
okay.
But we will be conducting whatever these 6 rehabs are using ARPA funding, so that would, just for awareness, that we are abiding by the municipal preference policy for 5 of the 6 homes, but we should just do it for all 6. I think, I reckon.
Yeah. Okay, cool. That's interesting. Okay. I guess that's it, guys, disposition.
Great.
I guess I'll just do finance and audit then.
Where's Barbara doing it?
Oh, Barbara's here, sorry, there you go, Barbara.
I'm on, yep.
All right,
Go ahead.
over to you, Barbara, for the finance and audit report.
Yes, okay, I can read Rebecca's notes, for the finance committee report. So under the Legacy Cities 1 LLC, 169 Hurley is sold, 29 Rogers is sold. We've sold all 4 homes in our Legacy Cities 1 program. The CPC bank loan is paid off. The cash in the bank as of April 30th was used to pay the developer fee to Maida. Did I say that right? Maida. Yeah, for 29 Rogers and to KCLB for both 29 Rogers and 169 Hurley. Maida was paid the developer fee for Hurley on April 22nd. The total project came in under budget, which is exciting, and the amount of cash left over after paying back the bank loan will be a return of equity to KCLB. And the LLC will remain open for administration purposes as we wind down to make sure all expenses are accounted for. For KCLB, the electrical upgrade work has been contracted for 20 Stefan, is that how you say that street name? 28 Abbey and 69 Gill. The LBI 1 reimbursable grant of $50,000 was received for first quarter 2024 operational expenses. We earned the developer fees from the final 2 Legacy Cities 1 home sales, and expenses are in line with budget, including $18,000 payment for audit. And that is the report that Rebecca sent me today.
Question, this might be for you, Stacy. I don't know if it's in, I could probably look through the balance sheet and try to figure it out. Just ask, do we know how much that, the cash that returned to KCLB after Legacy Cities 1?
We're still working that out because of all, there's some things that are just coming through
Okay.
that we, just trying to true up. So I think probably, I was saying, maybe by June,
Okay.
we'll know that.
Cool.
But I don't know if
Yeah, I
I
mean,
want to say
and
that
maybe-
out loud, and,
yeah.
you know, without it being a, I don't want to go on.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries. I'm just
Look
curious.
back at the, we can have
I
a
mean,
conversation.
all of it is like bonus. As
Yeah.
far as we're
Yeah.
concerned, so
Yes.
it's good.
More totes.
Immediately reallocated the totes. And then my garage is completely full of t-shirts and totes, poster boards.
We have to
Scissors.
have like, a stand, you gotta get like kids to get out there, like the lemonade stand.
Totes.
I'm a Bartex kid, so. They're very cute. They are.
Okay, I guess that was it for finance. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's report as given by Barbara. On behalf of the treasurer. Motion,
Second.
all in favor? moving on to comms. They did not meet this month. Who's doing comms? I guess I can do it. Yeah, I can do it. We didn't have a meeting this month for newsletter and social opportunities. There are a couple of things that I have on my list, like haven't drafted yet, but queued up to get out to social media. One of which is trying to do something related to the appearance Aaron and I were on the Radio Kingston program, which I think turned out really well. We have the announcement about the LBI award, but sort of holding on that till we have a cool name for the project to officially unveil. So there's a couple things there that I think we can get out, or at the very least, queue up for the next newsletter as well. There's an item on here, discussion of the quarterly engagement plan. I think that's still TBD for the next comms meeting. So we'll talk about that at the next meeting. And then new general operating fundraising opportunities. The only one I can think of that I think we've discussed is this potential, which I guess is also engagement, this potential event, trying to work with Lone Wolf to see if something can go there. So TBD, we'll put it on the agenda for the next comms meeting. And, yeah, that's what it is for comms. Any questions? Cool. Bartek isn't here, so I'll cover governance. We didn't meet, I don't think there's much there. The only thing I did want to note is board members. We got a couple of applications in after the social media post went live, so that's good. I think we're reviewing it. I think we're just waiting for, we're waiting for Bartek to schedule interviews with a couple of people. So TBD on that. But good news is that was at least successful in terms of getting a couple of new applicants in. So we'll keep moving there. Design committee, we didn't meet last month, but that was we actually have a meeting scheduled for this week, which this meeting up.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't have much to cover. I think we're kind of in a holding pattern right now. Joanna and I have both gone out with Owen to meet to like do tours of the houses. Owen is a
I feel like my first design question.
yeah.
It's terrifying.
Did great.
So in case, so everyone's aware, we're basically, we've had issues in the past where, you know, we have our design plans, obviously, we have a path forward, but sometimes things come up or something's out of stock and there's like a need for a quick question to be answered. So the way we're handling it this go around on these 6 new properties is there's 3 people on the design committee, me, Joanna, and Daniel. So each of us are taking 2 as like the point person for this home. So if any questions come up, it'll go to us to handle, and otherwise Owen will make a decision after like 48 hours. It's like urgent, he'll just make a decision. So Owen set up some times with us. I think Joanna and I have gone, Daniel's still waiting to schedule something with Owen, but I thought it was super helpful.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. Yeah,
Yes.
I can't
Did
look
you
at
have the
just,
right protective gear?
I didn't.
I didn't know you
Okay, I didn't know I needed it.
No, for your lungs.
Oh, yeah, I probably should have.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, super interesting. I can't look at the plans and just like stare at them, so it's helpful to just be like, what is this? Yeah, really cool. And I encourage any of you, in line with our new on-site policy, if you want to see any of the homes, talk to Owen. I'm sure you wouldn't mind. One thing that I did, I'm now kind of going off topic, but one thing I did mention that came up in one of the houses, I think it was Abby, because Abby has a little bit more like some historical details than Stefan. Like it's a 2-family, there's like this really cool, like metal 1950s like kitchenette upstairs that like we have to take out, but like someone might want it. So I have on my list, I need to follow up with Owen about it, about trying to look at, I know we've sort of looked into selling or giving stuff to Zaborski's, but like they won't come pick it up. There's a place down in Newburgh that I know does a lot of salvage stuff. It's like historic house parts or something they're called. But I've seen them on Instagram. They have like trucks that you just get rolls of stuff. Like you can take it and it wouldn't be a tax write-off for us, but maybe they buy it and use it to fund something. So anyway, something to explore.
We're gonna make it into a one-bedroom house from a two, okay.
Yeah, that's what we're getting, taking that kitchen. There's one downstairs.
Otherwise, we would keep it.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It is kind of cool.
What color is it?
It's blue.
I was gonna think avocado. I don't know, like.
Yeah, so that was it for design. Maybe we should, we'll talk. Yeah. All right, we'll talk. Otherwise, we still don't have any members of the public here, so no other public comments. Then we'll jump to new business. So Mike, you want to talk? I'll kick to you to talk about that.
Sure. Be happy to talk about it. So we have a 401k program. It is off the ground. It's up and running. We're running into some hiccups that require someone with the experience managing these type of things to be able to interface directly with paychecks. That person is not me. That person is Stacy. So the request would be for an authorization, which is in your board package, authorizing Stacy to be an additional authorized representative. And so once that's done, if you approve it, if someone could tell me who can sign it, and I will send that to them. Let's get a signature. Get on the phone some more. And you've been very patient and with me to help educate me as to what all these pieces are, and you've been very patient with the folks involved in obfuscating the case. So
Currently, you're the only one authorized?
currently I am.
Okay.
We had to pick one. Happened to be me.
Shows wrong.
I got a text from Stacy and a phone call, and I picked it up, and I said the word yes, I think, and that happened. So more diversity or more options is
Sure.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
yeah.
So, unless there's any discussion, I'll entertain a motion to vote on the resolution as included in the board package.
Okay. Motion to approve the resolution that's included in the board package.
Second.
There we go.
All right, all in favor? Great, resolution passes, congratulations.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I get on the phone and I get all the way to like, why? And they're like, oh, we can't help you. It's like, what?
And then someone has to sign.
I was gonna ask who should, do you mind signing?
Yes.
I'll send you a copy.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Can it be, does it have to be a wet signature?
But no, because it's electronically submitted back. So no.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Cool. I don't have anything else to discuss, so I entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. I don't want to hang out. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Bye.
Tremendous. Thank you,
All
guys.
right.
Thank you. Goodbye, Barbara.